Good day, good day, good day. Welcome to another edition of SKN Football Weekly. I'm your host, Andre Huey. Pleasure to have you. It's a great time always to be here to talk football with you. There's so much to talk about in the world of football, and so we're grateful to have you with us. And as always, we have with us our football analyst and journalist, none other but LaShawn Dixon from the City Fields Observer. LaShawn, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Pleasure to be back again to talk more football. A good week last week, and hopefully we can say repeat this week.
All right, fantastic. Well, as always, we start our discussion looking at football with highlights. We're going to present the report first that we had with some of the interviews we did, some of the coaches. So we'll present that to you, and then we'll come right back to preview the games coming up this weekend in the SKNFA National Bank Group Premier League Match Week 10. We're entering Match Week 10 this Saturday, and more importantly, we're starting round 2 of the 2025-2026 football season. So let's go straight into that, and we will come right back to do the previews of the matches coming up this weekend. Round 1 of the 2025-2026 National Bank Group Premier League concluded on Sunday, February 1st at the National Bank Group Technical Center with 2 thrilling encounters. League leaders MFCR Old Road United Jets preserved their unbeaten run after battling back from 2 goals down to earn a 2-2 draw against Azul Kayam Rockets. Karik Knight opened the scoring in the 5th minute before Evans Roy Barnes doubled Kayam's advantage in the 33rd. Old Road responded in the second half through Shaveen Boston in the 58th minute and Tikwani Williams, who netted the equalizer in the 82nd minute. Earlier on Sunday, Tropical Blossom Hot Spring Bath United climbed out of the relegation zone after recording their first win of the season, coming from behind to defeat bottom-placed TGE DB Eagles 2-1. Joaquin Rochester put DB ahead in the 30th minute, but late goals from Chris Brown in the 86th minute and a stoppage time winner from Shamari Roberts secured all 3 points for Bath. On Saturday, January 31st, Rams Village Superstars, still winless this year, fought back to earn a 2-2 draw against Development Bank St. Peter's FC. St. Peter's dominated the first half with goals from Dionys Stevens in the 31st minute and Kareem Simmons in the 42nd. Village's task became more difficult when Tyran Hanley was sent off with a red card. Despite being reduced to 10 men, Village mounted a strong comeback as Joseph Wilkes scored in the 48th minute before Raheem Francis grabbed a late equalizer in the 85th minute. In the second match of Saturday's triple header, Honda Newtown United continued their impressive form with a 2-0 victory over St. Kitts Concrete Masters Sandy Point FC. Sylvester Keynes opened the scoring with a composed finish following a well-weighted pass. Just before half-time, Sandy Point were reduced to 10 men with Adolphe Philippe being sent off with a red card. 4 minutes later, Jean-Wolf Edward doubled Newtown's advantage to seal the victory. After the match, Newtown United manager Serene Weeks said that while pleased with the win, the team was not at its best and will be aiming for an improved performance in their next outing.
The first half, we was more positive. In the second, I could have seen more goals, but we was lapsing, and just playing it in the cool vibes. But next match, we will be 100%. So look out for us, Honda United on the rock.
Sandy Point head coach Vaughn Patrick spoke about his team's challenges.
Yes, well, that's something we're trying to work on the training ground. Directly, as we see, we don't have a natural 9, but we're working, we're trying to build something, but we can see how it goes for now and just keep working. I mean, it's a task ahead, but I think the guys are up for the task, so just keep pushing.
Match week 9 got underway that Saturday with defending champions SL Horses St. Paul's United securing a 2-0 victory over Sol Island Auto Supply's Connery FC. Malik Clark was the standout performer, scoring both goals in the 43rd and 57th minutes. Assistant coach Jamal Jeffers noted that despite back-to-back wins following a slow start, it is still too early to say the champions are back to their best.
So if we're back as yet until we are back where we belong, St. Pat's have always been a team where, we're up in the top 4 positions. Yes, we had a situation before, but, we build on what we build on. We get back our players and we just want to move forward. So definitely, it's a good feeling right now.
Round 2 of the National Bank Group SKNFA Premier League kicks off on Saturday, February 7th at 4 p.m. at the National Bank Group Technical Center.
to switch side. Keeper making a mistake here. And Malik getting the ball, and Malik puts it into the back of the net. Ashbal coming off, not able to hold the ball. That ball getting away from him. Malik sticking with the play. It across for Kalanji. Kalanji finding Malik, who's cutting in, and Malik with a lovely shot there, putting it past Ashbal, getting his second of the afternoon, and putting that one into the back of the net here in the 56th minute of play. Malik Clark.
10 right now. Can they take advantage? Edward try to flick it into Keynes and Slaughters, you call him. Immediately taking advantage of the man down. Keynes with a nana, threaded the pass, and he just puts his foot on it. And Newtown in the back of the net. Referee. 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 Whistle gone. Edward goes in, and Edward just, oh, the goalkeeper got a touch, but too much power, and it's 2-0 in favor of Honda Newtown United.
What could become of this? Dionis starts his run, curling it, good strike, and it's past Keith-Roy. Opening goal of the evening. 1-0 St. Peters. Dionis Stevens, the leading goal scorer for St. Peters. He has opened the goal scoring with what I would consider a wonderful strike. Curled into the, oh, that's nestled, thumped via the head of Kareem Simmons, right at the near post, straight from the boot of Dionis Stevens onto the head of Simmons, and it's rattled the net like it came off the instep. Higgins swinging in one on the back post. 2 players there, and that's the goal that Village needed. Provided by Joseph Wilson off the head. Another good goal in swinging. Not out of danger, it's in the goal. Provided by... Somebody's going to get a red card, and it's Bazi. But it's a goal from Raheem Francis.
Ball played on the inside. And shot from Rochester puts it into the back of the net. Both defenders there, Myers and Williams, not able to deal with that ball all the way over. Green hat coming off of the hand of Green, and it's a penalty. Green. Chris. And Chris put it on. Brian gets a save, but Chris gets the rebound and heads it into the back of the net. Brian coming up with the save there, but Chris was the first man onto the ball, and it could be problems here. Lovely ball. Can he get it on target? And it's into the back of the net. But getting the go-ahead goal here in injury time. Diebe making a mistake.
Getting down the line, not giving any crosses, but Hendricks goes inside. He's pushed down, and the referee had no choice. The referee had no choice but to point to the spot. Whistle goes now, and Mr. Knight strolls in and, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. And it's in the back of the net, and the Rockets soar. Hendricks. Here comes Mitchum. Mitchum coming forward, going inside. Barnes for the shot, and the goal! Barnes! Earlier, I said he had a chance to take a shot with the left, and this time around, smacked the ball away from Clifford Samuel in goal to double the... So it's back. Isaac sends it across, and nobody... he goes in! He sticks it in! Well, after not scoring the easy one, Boston gets the right touch, loops over the head of the goalkeeper. Running out of the wall, touches it to Tikwade. Oh my gosh! The goalkeeper left standing as though the national anthem was playing. He did not move one bit. Leave him in the boots. And would you believe it? It's 2 goals apiece in the 82nd minute.
So we have here the results from this past weekend, match week 9 to be exact, of the SKNFA National Bank Group Premier League. So LaShawn, any surprise results from the weekend that you would have seen last weekend?
Well, not necessarily surprising, but to see that Olo drop the first set of points for the season. And the final game of the first round, that would have raised some eyebrows, especially being down 2-0 in the first half, and then to come back to win to draw the game. It's a good effort from them. It's probably the new mentality that kept them in that game and kept them in with the opportunity to come back and get the equalizer and even maybe winning the game. So that was for me the standout game. Also St. Peter's as well, going up 2-0 against Rams with the Superstars, and then Rams with the Superstars finding 2 late goals to equalize that game in a similar vein, especially when they're being down to 10 men, having to find 2 goals. That's very difficult to do, and they managed to pull it off in the end.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the matches coming up this weekend. It's match week 10, and it is the match week 10, and it is also the start of round 2. So let's take a look at the matches. Starts tomorrow, and there was some change from the original schedule. So this is actually the schedule for tomorrow. It is first game at 4 p.m. Bath United, Tropical Blossom Hot Spring Bath United. They will play Dieppe Bay. That match starts at 4 p.m. at the National Bank Group Technical Center, followed by 6 p.m. rematch, round 2. It is SL Horses St. Paul's United versus Saul Allen Auto Supplies Connery FC. That is at 6. And at 8 p.m., it is Azul Cam Rockets versus MSCR Old Road United Jets. Then on Sunday at 4 p.m., we have St. Kitts Concrete Masters, Sandy Point FC versus Honda Newtown United. And that promises to be a very exciting match. And the final match of the week will see Development Bank St. Peter's FC playing Rams Village Superstars at 6 p.m. LaShawn, let's start with the first match. And this, of course, we had the ending of round 1 with this same fixture, Bath United versus Dieppe Bay. Looking at this one, Bath got their first 3 points after defeating Dieppe Bay on Sunday, and this is going to be a chance for Dieppe Bay probably to try to get revenge. Not forgetting, of course, and I talked about this last week, not forgetting that Dieppe Bay would have had lost about 5 players, but now 6, because the other players are on their chest. He also has qualified to go to Poland, but was delayed because of funding issues. He is now gone. He has now left earlier this week. So they are now without 6 of their top players. Can Dieppe Bay cope? I saw their coach this week. I asked him how he's coping without his players. He said he's coping, he's managing. They have some good, talented players, so they should be able to do well. Do you think they can get their first 3 points in this one, or will Bath double their lead over them?
Yeah, and as you see, the fixtures are just a repeat of last week, but the Bath, despite losing 5 players, as you said, last week, they were definitely the better team for majority of that game. They held a 1-goal lead until very late into that game, and then I think they conceded twice in 6 minutes to eventually lose that game. So they would be kicking themselves for losing that game. It would have been a good chance to get 3 points on the board and start to pull in some of the teams in and around them, including Bath and Sandy Point. But instead, they gave up 2 late goals, and Bath finds themselves outside the relegation zone now, and Sandy Point falling down into the relegation zone. So it was a big fixture last week, and it's probably even bigger this week considering the implications that the results could have on the table.
Now, when you think about it too, LaShawn, you've been watching Dieppe Bay, you've been looking at them. What it is about them that they're not getting the edge? I mean, they're playing well, they're talented young players, they are the Division 1 champions from last season. What is it that is preventing them from getting over the edge, getting that 3 points, and putting themselves in a comfortable position? They're playing well, but they're just not getting the results.
Yeah, and I just think that they don't compete for the full 90 minutes. I think that's an issue they've had since the start of the season, where they are in games and look well, Sometimes they take a lead, sometimes they score early goal, but they just don't compete across the full 90 minutes, and in the end, it always comes back to bite them. If they could find a way to put it together and play for for the entire game, put out the best for the entire game, the 90 minutes plus whatever added time, it would be they would see success from it. But as of now, we haven't seen them put it together for 90 minutes, a full 90 minutes at least.
Bath United, they've finally got their 3 points. They are now out of the relegation zone, they're appointed, but they're just above Sandy Point. So, any bad result, and if Sandy Point were to get points, they could fall back down in that zone. There's some, and I remember Shane was on the last time around, Shane Jeffers, he suggested that Bath could possibly get relegated this season because of the bad start they've had to the season. They were in round 2 and they're just above the relegation zone. Do you think Bath will kick on from here?
Well, it's a good opportunity, and this week playing the same opponents again, if they could get another 3 points, they could definitely put some daylight between them and Deep Bay initially. Then pressure will be on Sandy Point to try and find a result against Newtown this time around, and it might be it could be a big weekend for Bath, considering that they get another chance to play Deep Bay, another chance to pick up 3 more points. And as I said, for the most part of that game against Bath, they were outplayed by Bath, but in the end they found 2 goals later and managed to walk away with the first win of the season. And as I said, it's an opportunity for them to kick on and double down and get another 3 points.
Right. So that game is at 4 p.m. It's the first match of the season, and it promises to be quite exciting. Looking at these 2 teams, Bath United versus Deep Bay, at 4 p.m. at the National Bank Group Technical Center. And just to remind you, of course, all these matches are live on FIFA Plus for those persons overseas and those persons unable to make the matches. All right, let's go to the other one, LaShawn, and this is one too that was highly anticipated last week. It's a repeat of the final match for these 2 teams in round 1, and that is SL Horses St. Paul's United, the defending champions, taking on Saul Island Auto Supplies Connery FC, and St. Paul's cruised to a 2-0 win in this one. Well-needed points for St. Paul's, and as you saw in the interview I had with Jamal Jeffers, the assistant coach, I asked him, are St. Paul's back? Can we say that the defending champions are back? He was a bit careful in his response. He was very careful in saying, well, I'm not sure if we are back yet, but we certainly are on the right track. Your thoughts on St. Paul's getting back-to-back wins this season for the first time of the year since the turn of the year?
Yeah, I think it's 3 wins in a row, because if you remember yourself, they defeated Deep Bay, they defeated Bath, and now Connery. So 3 wins in a row. Yeah. Definitely needed.
First time they're getting 3 wins in a row.
Yeah, definitely something that's needed. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely needed, and they put themselves back in contention for a top 4 spot, the final 4 spot. We've said it from since we started this program that this is a team you never want to write off. This is a team that have bags and bags of experience. Not only experience in playing at this level, but experience in winning at this level. So it's a team you can't look past. It's a team you have to always keep one eye on. They're very experienced, and last weekend I saw they've added even more experience in the likes of Terrence Ward, who is a former Golden Boot winner in the Premier Division. He hasn't played football in a while. I know he's been focusing on cricket for a very long time, but he is someone who brings bags and bags of experience as well to the St. Paul side. So that's something. Yes.
Yeah, so that's a major addition, and of course they have Freeman back. Wasn't on the score sheet this weekend, but certainly he's not a player you can take lightly.
Yes, and he's another Golden Boot winner, former Golden Boot winner. I think he won the Golden Boot last season, and he is someone who can put the team on his shoulders and carry them across the line whenever they need it. So having him back, it's a big plus for them. And as we said, the last 3 games they have now put themselves in contention for a top 4 spot, and they are definitely in the mix now, with all the players back, and they now on a winning streak.
Yeah. Now, should Connery, now we're going to turn our attention to Connery, because if they were to lose this game, it serves not going to be good for them, considering the challenges that they've been having this season, the mixed results not seem to be focused. If they were to lose this back-to-back games against the champions, what does this do for their confidence run and also their prospects for a playoff?
Yeah, and we've been saying that Connery is one of those inconsistent teams across the league this season, where they're not great, and the other week they're a totally different side. 2 losses in a row now, 6 unanswered goals. They ought to try and find a solution to get back into the mix. Last week they weren't at their best. St. Paul's, as we said, St. Paul's, they looked very strong against them. They didn't let go of against St. Paul's side. They had to find some answers. The week before they were destroyed, I think, by Newtown. So they need to go back to the drawing board and try to drop some answers as to how they could get back into the mix of things. I know last week for sure they were without Jayan Duncan and Ewell Lacklin, and a few key players were missing from their side. So I know that it would have been difficult for them to have competed against St. Paul's, but hopefully they can be. Those players are back this weekend. Far as well, those players are back this weekend. Players who are key for Canary success.
Yeah, indeed. So that game is the second match of Saturday. It's at 6 p.m. And again, all matches will be at the National Bank Group Technical Center. Let's look at the other game coming up. We have at 8 p.m. and this is a marquee matchup. We had an exciting game and actually this was the fixture that ended round 1 on Sunday. That's Azul Cairn Rockets versus MSCR Old Road United Jets. And this game did live up to its reputation. LaShawn, your thoughts on the game on the weekend that they played, which ended up in a 2-2 draw, and the first time Old Road has dropped points this season?
The first half, scoring 2 goals. It could have been a bit more, but in the end, they scored 2. They went into halftime 2 goals up. Old Road rang some changes at halftime. They brought on their leading goal scorer, one of their leading goal scorers in Sharon Boston, and then he led the comeback. He got the first goal, a nice depth touch, a good finish at the near post, and then they got a free kick, and it was buried by the talisman Tiquani Williams. So it was a good comeback for Old Road. Definitely, they would have wanted to keep their perfect record going into the second round, but it wasn't meant to be. But for Cairn, you can say it's good back-to-back games after defeating Rams Village Superstars the week before, going two goals up against the league leaders. They would have been happy with that, but to let the 2 goals slip, they would have definitely walk away the more disappointed side out of the 2 last week.
Let me ask this. Were you at any point in doubt that Old Road would have lost that game or walked away with nothing or come back and try to win the game or at least come away with a point? Was there any doubts in your mind in the season they've had so far?
Well, maybe the Cairn fan in me had doubted them, yes. But at the end of the day, when I saw how they started the second half, I knew they were going to score at least 1 goal. Whether they would have gotten the 2 or more was my concerns, but in the end, I think they definitely, the changes that they made at halftime definitely worked, and it paid off in the end. That you see that they came out and were able to grab 2 goals and could have even gotten a third, but at the end of the day, they had to settle for a 2-2 draw. But they shown a mentality that, hey, even though we're down 2-0, it's still an opportunity for us to come and try and fight back and get some goals and keep the pressure on teams below us.
Before we go back to Keon, what was different about Full Road this time around?
Okay, I didn't hear the question. Repeat the question.
Yes, I was asking, what do you think prevented, or rather, what Full Road did differently that caused them to drop those 2 points, considering that they were such on a momentum, and quite a few people thought this was, of course, one of the toughest challenges so far this season, but a lot of people thought they would have probably continued their unbeaten run so far this season. They're still unbeaten, but this is the first time they've actually won a game so far.
Yeah, and I think I guess it was availability. Boston didn't start. I think he got to the game late, if memory serves me right. So I think that was an issue. Then I just think they gave up the penalty early, and Keon had all the momentum going into halftime. But they made some changes. They got the focal point up front. They got him on, and the game just switched. The momentum of the game just switched. So I didn't think they necessarily did anything different. It's just that they didn't start as well, but they finished the game in the style that we've seen from them so far this season, in the ruthless fashion that they've shown this season. So hopefully they could use that second half, and it will help push them on into the second round. And as you said, they've given themselves a nice buffer. So even if they were to go on a lean run, they will still be. They still have a bit of cushion at the top. They still have a bit of space between them and the second place team. So the work they have to put in this far from the first round, it will definitely go a long way for them this season.
All right. Well, let's talk quickly now about Keon. They are, surprisingly, they've found a way to. They've had 2 tough games, and they've found a way to win those 2 games, impressive games against 2 good teams, and they're now seated back on a run. How do you think now, if they were to get a win or get another good result in this match, what do you think this will do for Keon season?
Well, it will definitely help them kick on, and I'm sure if you had offered them 4 points from Village and Old Road, they would have taken that at the beginning of the season in the first round. So they would be pleased, but they would have been definitely disappointed overall with the first round has gone for them, especially losing to Sandy Point and Newtown United. But at the end of the day, they finished the round strong, and it's a chance for them to kick on, a chance for them to build some confidence and move on. They get the league leaders again. It's a chance for them to try and correct the second half that they had against Old Road.
All right. Well, that game is coming up on Saturday evening. Saturday evening at 6 p.m., at 8 p.m. rather, the last game on Saturday. And that is going to be quite an exciting match. And the one last week was very entertaining. So I could just imagine how this one is going to be. So we look forward to that. All right, as usual, before we get to the Sunday matches, we are going to take another break, and we're going to be playing a report from the Division 1 League. We'll take a quick look at Division 1, and that too also have its own drama and excitement we're going to talk about later on in the show. So we'll take another break. We'll go into the report on Division 1, and we'll come back to continue our preview of the SKNFA National Bank Group Premier League Match Week 10, the first match of Round 2 for the 2025-2026 season. We'll be right back. The race at the top of the SKNFA Division 1 table is heating up as several title contenders dropped points while others took advantage to close the gap. On Sunday, February 1st, at the Gardens Football Stadium, league leaders KSC Trinity Challengers United suffered a surprise 3-1 defeat at the hands of Trevor Freights and Associates Molineux Pitbulls FC. Dion Dolphin opened the scoring for Molineux in the 17th minute before Keita Yonis doubled the advantage 9 minutes later. Challengers were given a lifeline just before half-time when Jabari Willett converted from the penalty spot, but despite creating chances in the second half, they were unable to find an equalizer. Devontae Carty put the result beyond doubt with a goal in the 65th minute. After the match, Molineux manager Eldon Liebert praised his players for their resilience, highlighting the team's response to last week's points deduction due to a no-show.
But yeah, it was a lot important because I really tried to get back the guys positive, try to get them back whereby forget what happened last week and try to focus on this week, and they really respond. So yeah, that was nice for a good win for the club.
Coach Orrin Hughes said a combination of factors contributed to his team's first loss of the season.
A number of things. The environment played a key for my players in terms of the heat of the sun. 1. 2, players showed up late in the first instance, so in my opinion, proper warm-ups and so forth. Mental toughness in terms of not seeing the numbers based on who was in the starting 11, not being early, and so those are just a few things. The other thing is persons in terms of my players got overwhelmed with respect to not playing our game and got sidetracked from carrying out the instructions that I would have indicated to them.
On Thursday, January 29th, title hopefuls Skellig Garden Hotspurs suffered their second defeat of the campaign, going down 4-3 to fellow contenders 607 Construction Lodge Patriots. Goals for Lodge Patriots came from Shamari Liebert, Raquan Berry, Vince Roy Nelson, and Javern Matthew, while Caldry Liebert and Mohajarat Hajari found the net for Spurs. Also on Thursday, CIBC Village Galaxy edged Connery Fireball 1-0 with Akanye Francis scoring the decisive goal. On Friday, January 30th, the shock result of the week saw Rivers of Living Water FC claim a convincing 3-0 victory over Fast Cash Mother Becky's Tea Saddlers United. Aldine Powell and Lamar Irish struck in quick succession in the 47th and 49th minutes, before Saddlers' Unique Eddie added an own goal in the 55th minute. In Friday's other encounter, Mantam secured a 3-1 victory over Elko Limited Security Forces United. Arville Challenger scored twice in the 7th and 60th minutes, with Kyrie Jarvis adding a third in the 51st. Shama Walters netted the lone goal for Security Forces in the 6th minute.
Okay, we're back here on we're back here on football, SK Football, and we are looking at the upcoming games in the Premier League. We're in match week 10, and we're also in the beginning of round 2 rather. Round 1 ended on Sunday. So we're starting round 2 tomorrow, and it will continue into Sunday, where we'll have 2 exciting games on Sunday. We looked at the matches for Saturday, so now let's take a look at the games that will be coming up for this Sunday. So on Sunday, we have at 4 p.m., it is St. Kitts Concrete Masters Sandy Point FC versus Honda Newtown United. And at 6 p.m., it will be Development Bank St. Peters FC versus Rams Village Superstars. Now, LaShawn, when you look at the first game on Sunday, it wasn't really an easy win per se. I mean, we look at the scoreline. Newtown did dominate the match, but in the early parts of the match, it was a tit for tat, so to speak. Sandy Point really came out strong, but didn't last long. And on top of that, they did lose a player to a red card, which also affected the outcome of the game. Because shortly after that, Newtown scored their second goal to go in with a 2-0 lead at halftime. So looking at the
that match in particular, do you expect anything different in terms of results? Newtown coming out winners, or will we see Sandy Point, put up a stronger showing?
Well, Sandy Point, hopefully, if they could keep 11 men on the field, they would be able to put up a better fight. But as we said with Newtown previously, they're hitting their stride, they're finding form, they're looking really, really good. They're second in the league, comfortably at second. They they look very strong, but Sandy Point, as we've been saying for most of the season, the lack of a goal threat up front has been their biggest issue, and we've heard the coach speaking about that during the report, where them not having a natural number 9, and until they find a solution for that position, they will always struggle to win games. We've seen that, as we've said, defensively they have been doing okay. They're one of the better sides, but getting goals has been their biggest downfall, and until that is fixed, they'll struggle. And currently they're in the relegation zone, so pressure is on them. Especially considering Bath and DFB are playing again, pressure is on them to get some points starting this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you look at that, and you look at also the fact that, as you just pointed out, that your backs are against the wall, so to speak, do you expect maybe a shocker? I mean, we've seen what happened, what they did to Keon, where they scored 3 goals in the first half and were able to come away with 3 points.
Yeah, so it shows that the potential is there for them, but it's doing it consistently and doing it now that their backs are against the wall. They definitely need to find a spark from somewhere offensively, and hopefully this weekend is a weekend to put that right.
Right. Now, let's look also at the other team. Of course, Hunter Newtown United, they are extremely confident. They're playing extremely well. They've not lost a game so far this year, and they've ended round 1 on a strong note, hence why they are number 2 in the table. Newtown looking to make this 2-2 against Sandy Point and put a stronger position and pile the pressure on Old Road. Now, considering that Old Road dropped points last week as well.
Saying they definitely worthy of the second place. They're scoring lots of goals, and now we've seen since the turn of the year they have improved defensively. So hopefully this is a sign for them going forward that hey, they have they have found a combination that works for them. They still for me they're still fairly weak in the goalkeeping position. There's some work to be done there, but they are looking very well. They're looking very strong. They're scoring goals, and as I said, they're keeping clean sheets now. They're looking a lot more solid at the back, and they're definitely one of the contenders for the Premier Division this season.
Mm-hmm. An amazing story, considering that they just got promoted from the Division 1, and that people were essentially summarizing or assessing that this rebuilding process that they've been in for quite a few years now, that it will take some more time before they get back to the pinnacle of the Premier League. But right now, this season, they're looking really, really good, and certainly, as you said, rightfully so, a contender for the Premier League title.
Yeah, and although it might be weird to say they're a newly promoted team, they don't look it. They look like a strong side, one of the strongest sides, definitely in the competition. They're scoring goals for fun. And early in the season, we said we had said that they always started games well, but they never. They weren't able to put it together. They weren't able to put together the full package. But now, since the turn of the year, they have done a better job at that, staying the course of the 90 minutes, something we said they had to do, the other newly promoted side. But that's something Newtown has done very well, especially since the turn of the year.
Before we move on from Newtown, we have to talk about the fact that Sylvester Keynes just can't seem to avoid not finding the back of the net. Almost every week, he's scoring a goal. It's unbelievable goal scoring record from him this season.
Yeah, and I think he already has a hat trick this season. If memory serves me right, in December he got a hat trick. So he is up there for the Golden Boot race, and I know he almost every time he gets on the ball, he looks like he's about to put it in the back of it. He's even missed some easy chances as well so far this season. But hey, it's when you have the green, you have to take advantage of it. And right now he's the informed person from the town, and they're scoring lots of goals. He's scoring lots of goals, and I'm sure the whole Newtown community is happy right now.
Absolutely. So they're playing Sandy Point on Sunday at the first match on Sunday, and that is at 4 p.m. at the National Bank Group Technical Center. The final match on Sunday is also another one that we should be looking forward to. It is St. Peter's FC, Development Bank St. Peter's FC versus Rams Village Superstars at 6 p.m. These two teams are in, well, I wouldn't want to say desperate need of points, but they certainly need to get their season up and running a little bit more. Village are in number 4, and they're followed closely by St. Peter's. But you want to know, at this stage of the season, begin to pile the pressure on and to begin to put things in place so that you can be a stronger, going, in the Final Four, looking to make it into the Final Four. Your thoughts on this game coming up?
Yeah, and we spoke about consistency. We spoke speaking about consistency ever since we started this program. And St. Peter's have been one of the focal points of that point of not being consistent enough. They defeat Sandy Point one week, then they go up 2 goals against Village, a 10-man Rams Village Superstars the next week, and then couldn't come away with the victory. So that's something that needs to be corrected on their behalf. Stringing a few results together, as we've been saying, trying to get points on the board and put points on the board and put the pressure on the other teams. I'm searching for a top four place. Rams Village Superstars, on the other hand, since the turn of the year, they have been woefully out of form. I don't think they've won a game since the Christmas break. So it's something they'll have to correct. They did well to fight back against St. Peter's last week, being down to 10 and needing to find 2 goals to draw the game, and they did well to do so. But it's something that they ought to correct. All these draws, I think, in the last 4 games, they had 3 draws and a defeat. So that's something that would be a worry for them.
Yeah. What is it though about Village this season though? I mean, we know they've had the suspensions, but they weren't as hard hit as St. Paul into that, and they were able to recover some points from the points were deducted. But again, since the turn of the year, they haven't really been performing. To add to that, their number 1 goalkeeper, Jelani Archibald, and we should probably say this, and congratulations to him. He just got signed to another club in Malta, Valletta FC. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but congratulations to Jelani again. But they're without Jelani, and so they're maybe not as strong at the back as they were at the start of the season. What is it that's preventing them from getting this?
Yeah, and that's definitely a factor where you had one of the best goalkeepers we have in the federation in goal, and then the captain of the national team brings tons and tons of experience, played all over the world, played football all over the world, and congratulations to him again in securing a contract to continue his professional journey. But it's something that is definitely an issue for them in goal, where after losing Jelani, there's some the new goalkeeper who is not as good, not as imposing in the goal. It's definitely an issue, but it's something that they'll have to contend with, something they'll have to figure out going forward if they are to compete and do well for the remainder of the season. But as you said, for the turn of the year, when they've been without Julani, you've seen that the results have not been the same. I don't think they've kept a clean sheet since. They continue to get goals. The only last one game is still not good enough. These draws are not good enough for a team who wants to make the players make the finals and be champions again.
All right, so that's interesting. But let's talk about St. Peter's quickly, and then we have a big announcement to make. I just got some information which I'm going to share just now for football fans. You don't want to miss what I'm about to say. But let's talk quickly about St. Peter's. They too have had mixed results, but they've had the last couple of weeks a little recovery, so to speak. They've been performing much better. Of course, they will kick themselves for blowing that 2-0 lead. That 2-0 lead that happened against the Superstars. Second time we've seen that happen. It happened in Newtown earlier this season as well against the Superstars. St. Peter's, they need to hang on to their leads, especially if they have a big lead like that.
Yeah, and especially against 10 men. You definitely need to hold on to those type of leads. You definitely need to build on that. Definitely need to ensure you walk away with 3 points when you're in those type of positions. And as we've been saying, consistency is key. Consistency is what in teams who make the playoff as against the teams who don't. And with St. Peter's, we've seen them be one of the more inconsistent teams, especially with Connery and Kean, where these two teams probably may be fighting for 2 spots and maybe even less coming for the Final Four. When you consider that the way Old and Newtown are playing, you can almost pencil them in for a playoff spot already. So then you have the other teams there or thereabouts from about 3rd to 6th or 7th who will be fighting for a playoff spot. So it's a game like that where you're tuning up a man up, you will need to hold on to those type of leads.
Yes, indeed. So that match is going to be,
and especially against a team like Ramsville Superstars.
Exactly, precisely. Yeah. All right, so that takes us out then of our preview. We're looking again at the matches. It's our Tropical Blossom Hot Spring Bath United versus TGE DBA Eagles at 4 p.m. tomorrow. Also tomorrow at 6 p.m., the second in a triple header is SL Horses and Paul's United, the defending champions, versus Saul Island Auto Supply's Connery FC. And then at 8 p.m., it's Keon Rockets versus MSCR Old United Jets. Then on Sunday, we have Masters Sandy Point FC versus Honda Newtown United. And that game is going to be at 4 p.m. And that is followed at 6 p.m. with Development Bank St. Peter's FC versus Rams Village Superstars. All matches will be played at the National Bank Group Technical Center. And just remember, also, with the announcement we made a couple weeks ago, that the revenues at the gate at the Technical Center earned in round 2 onwards, that will be shared equally amongst all the teams in the Premier League. So when you support these games, you're also directly supporting the team. So go out and watch the matches. Now, if for some reason you're unable to go, especially if you're overseas, you can watch all the matches on FIFA Plus. All right, LaShawn, before we go, we have a big announcement to make. We just got this information. I'm going to be reading a press release. It's going to be posted shortly after the show, so you can look out for that. But the SKNFA, the St. Kitts Nevis Football Association, is announcing the appointment of a new coach, and his name is Marcelo Serrano. And we're going to be reading this press release quickly. I'm also going to get a graphic up on the screen while we are going through this release as well. So, here we go. So the information is as such that the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association is pleased to welcome Brazilian coach Marcelo Serrano as the new head coach of the St. Kitts and Nevis senior men's national team. Coach Serrano brings a wealth of experience to the role and holds pro coaching licenses from both Brazil and the United States. His coaching background includes work with the Brazilian youth national team as well as the Austin Bold FC of USL Championship, among others. Coach Serrano says, quote, "I am very grateful for this opportunity to work alongside the leadership and staff of the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association as we pursue our goal of qualifying for major tournaments." End quote. SKNFA President Atiba Harris described the appointment as a strategic move for the development of football in the Federation. He said, quote, "With his extensive experience, Coach Serrano will work closely with our technical director, Giba Daviano, and the technical staff to establish mentorship programs for local coaches and help elevate the overall coaching standard in the country," end quote. The St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association looks forward to this new chapter and wishes Coach Marcelo Serrano a successful tenure. Welcome to St. Kitts and Nevis, Coach Serrano. Sean, quickly your thoughts on this before we wrap up. I know it's a new breaking story.
Well, congratulations to Mr. Serrano. Yeah. Congratulations to the SKNFA as well for making the appointment, but I'm not necessarily familiar with Mr. Serrano's work, so I can't really comment too much, can't really say too much on what to expect, but whenever there's a new coach and new appointment, there's always reason to be excited, to be anxious, and to see what expectations we may have, may not have. So hopefully, his reign as a national team coach would be a success, and hopefully it could breed not only success on the field, but success off the field in the development of coaches, as he said he would like to sit down and work with the technical director. So hopefully it brings success on and off the field. But as I said, I'm not too familiar with his work, so there's not much that could be said.
Well, judging from it, and I agree with you, but also judging from his experience and his qualifications, we probably should be able to anticipate some good things from him. So, congratulations to the SKNFA and to Coach Serrano. I look forward to what we can expect from him in his tenure. Before we wrap up the show, quickly we look at the Division 1 League. We have matches played last night. We'll get those results published later today. But tonight we'll see Friday. And all the matches, by the way, this weekend are being played in Saddlers. Trinity Challengers United will take on Skellig Garden Hotspurs. Now, this is interesting because these are the two teams contending for the top of the table. Now, Spurs dropped down to third place this weekend because they lost last week, they lost the last game, which was on match week 8. So they had back-to-back losses. So they dropped down the pecking order a bit. They're now in third place. Lodge, which everybody was anticipating were going to be the team to do exceptionally well this season and probably win the league, they have now moved back up to second position. So that is going to be interesting. So we see now Security Forces, they played last night against Molyneux, so to the Rivers and Village Galaxy. The results will be published later today. Then we see now in the second match at 8 p.m. tonight in Saddlers is Saddlers United versus Mantab. And then on Sunday at 4 p.m., Connery Fireball International taking on Launch Patriots. This is going to be exciting. We are going to be seeing one of the two top teams in the league this season potentially dropping points. If they draw the match, of course, both of them would have dropped points, and Lodge has the potential to gain on challengers, Trinity Challengers. Trinity Challengers lost their first game on the weekend, Sean, against Molyneux. Molyneux, by the way, dramatic comeback because they initially had lost due to the no-show. However, after they would have written to the SKNFA and they have investigated, the decision was made to restore their 6 points. So Molyneux has gotten back their 6 points. So that's welcome news for them. And on top of that, they beat the league leaders 3-1 last week at the Gardens playing field. So they have one up on them. And that's a big setback for challengers who now have to face Spurs, who are fighting back to get back in the top position. So exciting days ahead this weekend in the Division 1. Quickly, your thoughts as we wrap up.
Yeah, in Division 1, it continues to be very tight at the top. You see Spurs firing out the top two. The all-important top two spots that will earn promotion. And we also see Rivers pulling off a big win against Sadlers. So that's
Right? Yes,
something
that's another big one as
to
well.
to,
Yeah.
to, 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 to pay attention to. But so far, so good for Trinity Challengers and Lodge Patriots occupying the all important top two spots as we go into another weekend of Division One football.
All right. Well, LaShawn, we'll leave it right there. Thank you so much again for taking time out to be on the show. And thank you, the viewers and listeners, for watching this edition, the 5th episode of SK Football Weekly. Join us again next week, same time, same place on the SK Network for another edition. Of course, you can look forward to the breaking news that we gave you just earlier, that we now have a new coach, Marcelo Serrano from Brazil. He is the new men's national team coach, and that information will be published on our social media networks. Thanks again for watching, and do go out, support the teams, whether it be the Premier League, Division 1. We also have the SKNFA Boys League as well. And not forgetting the under-17 men's national team. They're currently in St. Vincent and the Grenadines competing in the CONCACAF under 17. So you can stay tuned online on the CONCACAF website and their social media networks, to watch those, to keep abreast of those games. Thanks again for watching, and you'll have a wonderful footballing weekend. All of us here at Football Week.